أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله تعالى على حبيبه محمد وآله وسلم. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our segment on Surah Ibrahim. Inshallah, today we will cover the 5th Ruku of Surah Ibrahim, verses 28 to 34. May Allah grant us the ability to understand the true meanings of the Quran by the grace of His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. With this dua, let's begin the 5th Ruku of Surah Ibrahim. Verses 28 and 29. Have not you seen those who exchanged the favor of Allah for denial and led their people to the home of ruin? Hell, it's where they will burn, and a wretched place to settle. We are being asked to reflect upon those people and nations that misused their power and all the blessings that Allah bestowed upon them. They took ownership of everything that they could get their hands on, and instead of utilizing it according to Allah's commands for the betterment of all of Allah's creatures, they caused corruption and imbalance in their societies for their own personal gain, not accepting that it's Allah to whom everything belongs and to whom we all must return and face. Their stories are mentioned throughout the Quran for us to read and learn from. We see this happening even today, and as stated in this verse, those who act this way are destined for hell. Let's go on to verse 30. And they have set up to Allah equals, so they mislead from His path. Say, enjoy yourselves, but indeed your destination is to the fire. Those mentioned in the previous verse use their power, their status, their abilities, their skills, and their wealth to satisfy their personal desires and influence others in doing the same, in turn misleading them away from Allah's path. They have attached themselves to the material world and have taken for granted all the blessings that Allah has bestowed upon them. However, as stated in this verse, these are all temporary pleasures in this temporary life. The hellfire awaits them at the end. These people are also mentioned in Surah Az-Zumar in verse 3, where it says, Unquestionably, for Allah is the pure deen, and those who take protectors beside Him, we only worship them that they may bring us nearer to Allah in position. Indeed, Allah will judge between them concerning that over which they differ. Indeed, Allah does not guide who rejects and denies. Let's go on to verse 31. Say to my worshippers, those who believe, to establish Salah and spend from what we have provided them, secretly and publicly, before comes a day in which there will be no trade, nor any friendship. Allah is guiding us here to stay connected to Him by serving His creatures with the money, the resources, abilities, skills, time, and power that we have been given by Him. Whether it's a small gesture or large, in private or public, we must always find ways to give back. Give to those in need, those who turn to us for support, no matter who they are. Allah is the creator and provider of all things. Everything comes from Allah, and He has made us the medium through which this happens. It is our responsibility to use what Allah has given us to help others, and if we do not, then we must be ready to answer to Allah for ourselves when our time comes. It's interesting to note over here that this verse is directed towards the believers. We often think that just because we believe and call ourselves Muslim, it's enough for us to be on Allah's way. However, as stated here, we also need to act upon what we believe. If we just claim to be in submission to Allah, but our deeds don't show us actually being submissive and following His commands, then we are not any different from the deniers and the wrongdoers. As stated in Surah Al-Baqarah in verse 254, where it says, O you who believe, spend from that which we have provided for you, before there comes a day in which there is no exchange and no friendship and no intercession, and the deniers they are the wrongdoers. Let's go on to verses 32 and 33. Allah is the one who created the skies and the earth, and sent down from the sky water, then brought forth from it of the fruits as provision for you, and subjected for you the ships to sail in the sea by his command, and subjected for you the rivers. And he subjected for you the sun and the moon, continuous, and subjected for you the night and the day. These verses highlight Allah's greatness. They explain how he has created the entire universe and how everything runs according to his command. Every system on earth submits to him, doing what it's supposed to do, dutifully without fail, maintaining balance and harmony for us. We are reminded of this in Surah Al-Hajj in verse 65, where it says, "Do you not see that Allah has subjected to you whatever is on the earth and the ships, which run through the sea by his command? And he restrains the sky from falling upon the earth, unless by his permission. Indeed, Allah to the people is kind and merciful." This begs the question then, are we doing our due diligence? Are we in complete submission to Allah and his commands? Are we maintaining balance and harmony for others around us and within ourselves? If the answer is no, it's time to change and bring ourselves to order. Let's go on to verse 34. "And he gave you of all what you asked of him, and if you should count the favor of Allah, not you could enumerate them. Indeed, the mankind is most unjust and ungrateful." Allah has bestowed upon us countless blessings that we often take for granted. Think about the gift of life, the ability to see, the air we breathe, the natural resources we use, and the intellect that we've been given. Did we create these things? We most definitely did not. We should be more grateful for all of these blessings. By acknowledging and showing gratitude, we can truly understand how fortunate we really are. As stated in Surah Fatir in verse 3, where it says, "O mankind, remember the favor of Allah upon you. Is there any creator other than Allah who provides for you from the sky and earth? There is no deity except him. So how are you deluded?" We are reminded in Surah Al-Rahman repeatedly, in 31 verses out of the 78, where Allah states, speaking to both mankind and jinn, "So which of the favors of your Lord will you both deny?" This concludes Ruku 5 of Surah Ibrahim. Let's briefly go over what we discussed. All the blessings bestowed upon us come from Allah, the creator and maintainer of the entire universe, to whom we must show gratitude and return the favor by showing love and giving back to his creation. It is a requirement for believers to back up what they say by acting upon their faith and following Allah's commands. May Allah grant us the ability to understand the Holy Quran and its true meanings in light of the life and guidance of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen. Thank you for joining us for this segment. Until next time. Sadaqallahul Aliyul Azim. Allah speaks the truth, the exalted, the great. Sallallahu ta'ala ala habibihi Muhammadin wa alihi wasallam.